Hi. I think we're. I think. I think the show is ready to go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Beer Elizabeth Jones' Variety Hour.
Hello. 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 Hello, strangers. I haven't been around in a while. Look how old I've gotten. Every time I look at this show, if you look at the fresh faced in show number one, I look like a mere child. And now it's almost like the New Year's calendar comes in like a baby and out like an old man.
Oh,
I think I'm
yeah.
we're almost at the 100 show mark.
Yeah.
But I'm Kaye Lazar. It's so good to see you. And it's so good to see you.
Yeah.
I think since we did the last show, actually, I think the last show was on my birthday or something, or close to my birthday. You have had your own birthday.
Yes.
Yes, last month. And
It's been really busy for the past month, so.
now tell me, okay. And did you go anywhere for your birthday? I think you made new friends.
Yes.
Yeah, which is always a good idea on your birthday. Give yourself a present, new friends.
Yeah. I did a show back last month called Shrek.
Shrek.
Yeah.
Oh, you're still wearing the billboard. You're so-
Yep.
no, that was the. Yeah, there you go. Look at that. Shrek.
It was a really great show. It did really well. So.
Yeah, it really. I saw the show, and well, I'm not saying this to get a cheap laugh, but I think there were more people on the stage than there were in the audience. Not that it was that poorly received. There was just so many people in this show. Everybody had a part, and it was great. And it's just like the movie, but they had more songs and more dancing. Some of it was just so good. And who did you play?
I played Tweedle.
Tweedle of Tweedledum and
Yes.
Tweedledee.
Yes, it was only one Tweedle.
There's only one Tweedle.
Yeah, because I don't know what happened to the other one, so.
Was it written for two people and you got to play both parts or something? I mean, they just smushed the two parts as one.
They just switched it into one, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tweedle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's from Alice in Wonderland originally. Yeah,
Yes.
and it's kind of like Into the Woods, Shrek. They take all these characters that everyone knows, like Little Red Riding Hood and Mister and the Gingerbread Man and everything, and they put them all in a new type of story. Yeah. Yeah, and they put Tweedledum and Tweedledee.
Yeah.
Yeah, and made it all one person. So there you go. And let's see. Um, by the way, we're drinking Panera bread. Um, I don't know. They should do an advertisement for us because I've been drinking this stuff for the last 6 months.
I love Panera though.
Well, the thing is that, and I've been telling people this. It's one of the, with this inflation and everything. If you like coffee and if you like soda, for $15 a month, you just go to a Panera Bread and fill her up.
Yeah.
And it's usually open between 6 in the morning and 9 at night. And they refill your drink every 2 hours. So in theory, you could get 7 drinks a day. So
Yeah.
I'm just getting drink. I'm becoming very popular among my friends. I'm getting them coffee. I'm getting them green tea. We're getting them sodas. Sodas are like $8 a 12 pack now.
Mm. Yeah.
And so I'm trying to do what I can to save money and everything. Temu, and a lot of the places that sell a lot of Chinese goods, the tariffs are come into play that our lovely president is instituting, and everything at Temu is now twice as much. When it was half as much, it was great, but now that it's twice as much, it's just. I guess that's the whole point, trying to blow up the whole economy.
Yeah.
So I've been, so luckily I bought a whole bunch of stuff before the tariffs came in. Now I can't buy anything. Now I can't buy anything.
Yeah.
My only extravagance I've had lately is gas in my car. But let's see. So I've been, but I hate to deny myself anything. You know,
Yeah.
I when I was a kid, I loved going to ball games, especially baseball games. and I would try to. I just wanted to go to baseball games in the worst ways. And I told the story before. What happens is that every time I wanted to go, they said, "Did your mother and father let you go?" It goes, "No." Did they drop you off at the ballpark? I said, "No." They they wanted people to take me because I was still a young kid, like 12 years old. Oh, I was much younger than 12. When I was 12, I was more like an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
I looked like an 8-year-old. I also was
Yeah.
at the maturity of an 8-year-old. And I would, they said, there are a lot of weirdos and perverts in the bathrooms. They all hang out at ball games.
Yeah.
There's all these. I listen. Obviously they're hanging out in the bathrooms. So I said, well, I won't use the bathroom. I'm not. I could hold it. It brought to mind that when I was in high school, if you know anything about, I don't know how high schools are now, but the meanest kids, there were two places they always hung out: the bus, on the school bus, in the back, causing nothing but
Oh
trouble.
yes, I remember them.
Yeah, well, tell me about it. What do you remember about it?
Oh, I remember one of the kids way in the back saying, "Girl, you need to shave your legs."
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and I looked in the back, and they were just looking at me like
what'd you do? Yell back at him? So's your old man.
I wanted to, but I couldn't.
Oh yeah, I was actually, I feel bad for you.
Yeah.
When stuff like that would happen to me,
Hmm.
I would yell and scream and yell back at them. I was pretty good at that type of thing. I was sort of like Don Rickles. Some guy, I remember one guy I made cry once. I was just so mean when he started with me in front of everybody. I just really just knocked him down the side. And believe it or not, they never bother you after that. They get mad at the moment, but I remember school bus you can't really do anything. I think there are two places: the school bus I mentioned and the bathroom.
Oh yeah.
And why? There's no adult supervision there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who rides the school bus, drives the school bus, if someone doesn't even know those kids. They don't like the noise or anything, but as long as they get them to their places, that's fine. But I remember, yeah, I remember not walking to school like 3 miles sometimes because I didn't want to ride the bus there. So, and I'm talking about middle school, which was the worst. High school and elementary school were close enough that I could walk to it, and I did walk to it every day, which is good. It was good for everything. Good for my exercise. Good for everything. I was
Yeah.
walking everywhere as a kid, and so anyway, I would. Uh, so the kids on the school bus were just. I knew a kid once. He he got his father's Playboy magazines
Mhm.
and Penthouse magazines. You know what he did on the school bus? He rented them out for $1 a minute, so you
What?
could read it. He goes, "Hey, it's my dollar. I'm not gonna waste it. I'm not gonna share this on you."
Oh.
He goes, "Let me see that again." No, 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 no. Pay your own dollar. Pay your own dollar. We've never seen a naked woman before. We just thought our eyes flew out. And what else can I tell you about the school bus? Oh, I think I told this. My dad was, they used school buses to get us on a movie set once.
Mhm.
And you're spending a lot of time drinking water all the time and you're drinking coffee. And they said, so I said, we're on our way back to where the extras hang out and went from the set to because we're about to go on the school bus. And I said, you have to use the bathroom. And Dad said, no, I'll use it on the school bus. Because school buses don't have bathrooms. Because they don't have bathrooms. He's never been on a school bus before. In New York, they didn't have school buses where he was from. So, so then, we got in the school bus and he says, how come school buses don't have bathrooms? I said, what would happen if school buses had bathrooms? The kids are so insane on school buses, they'd probably throw their feces at each other like monkeys.
I know one of the buses called Flex Bus.
Yeah.
When I went to Atlanta about 2 years
Oh,
ago,
yeah.
they had a bathroom.
No, well, the professional one, the Trailways, the Greyhounds, they
Yeah.
have bath. Well, of course they have bathrooms. They're hours. I remember once I was on a bus in from Somerset to London with my cousin in England, and I remember having such a in England and a lot of those places I had such a bad hangover before I got on the bus that I think I spent the whole time in the bathroom. I think I was not to go to the bathroom, but just oh oh. It's like in those movies where they take their fist and hit the mirror.
Oh yeah.
They're so upset with
Yeah.
their life.
Oh yeah.
But they, you notice that they don't have mirrors in those places anymore. You know why? I think someone has already hit them. So we keep replacing them. Let's just not even have a mirror. They know what they look like.
Yeah.
They can look in their compact or their cell phone.
Yeah.
So I remember. Anyway, but I once I got in high school, the school buses were a little better, and I said I always wanted to go places. So I would let's see how it would work. I would go to school and say I wanted to go to a ball game or a movie downtown in the downtown area. I would take a school bus. I figured out where the routes were, and it might be maybe a block or two away from a bus stop, a city bus stop that would take me downtown, and I could go to the ball game or go to the movies or go to a concert or something. And I did do that. In other words, always try to figure out if I don't have a car, how am I going to get there? And I and I've been a genius at that.
Yeah, I remember last year I took the bus from London to Liverpool.
Yes,
It was great
yes,
because I got to see the British Highway,
yeah,
British countryside, and all
yeah.
that good stuff.
Was it in
So
the daytime or nighttime?
it's the daytime, but it was getting ready to be dark.
It's a long trip because London is on the far eastern side, I think, of England,
Yeah.
and Liverpool is on the western side. So it's
Mhm.
almost the whole length, not the length, but the width of England to get there.
Yeah.
Liverpool is, of course, where the Beatles are from.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was a people there are very nice. They're very
Yeah.
the people in London are like typical city people, kind of tough, and but the people in Liverpool,
Yeah.
I suddenly realized when I was in Liverpool why the it never dawned on me why the Beatles were so appealing, and because they had that Liverpool sort of personality.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like the rest of London.
I had a picture of me with the statue of John Lennon.
Oh yeah,
And there was at think it was a train station or airport or something.
I had a funny conversation about John Lennon a few days ago. Um, John Lennon, had that wife Yoko,
Oh yeah.
and after the Beatles, had their day, he was with Yoko in her band,
Mm.
and so they said, "Come see John Lennon." I think it was in New York.
And the Plastic Uno band.
The Plastic Ono Band. You're exactly right. And they needed to get people to go to this show, and this is in New York somewhere. And the warm up was Little Richard, the old time
Oh yeah.
singer
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
50s,
Yeah.
with Tutti Frutti and all those songs. And he told a wild story. There's a whole point when you're a warm up on a if you're a warm up, you're not supposed to be better than the main event.
Yeah.
You don't want if you're a comedian, you don't want a funnier guy. You don't want Robin Williams to come out before you do, and then you come up with your lame jokes
Yeah.
and with your riddles and knock knock jokes. You don't, and when you're a really good performer, you don't want a really great performer as your warm up. Now, John Lennon, I'm sure, was fine as a live performer. Of course, with the Beatles, he was fine. But this Plastic Ono band was not really a John Lennon show. It was a Yoko Ono show.
Yeah.
So yeah. So according to Little Richard, this show was a disaster because what happened was Little Richard, did the best show he could, good golly, Miss Molly, all those songs he does, and then
Yeah.
he got the people really rocking, Tutti Frutti over it. He did all those songs, and then of course after maybe 45 minutes or so, he went off, and then Yoko came on, and John was there. Wasn't really. He didn't, but he didn't sing Beatles songs. He sang, these screeching songs. And people were wondering, what did I pay to see this? I thought I was going to hear Imagine and the Beatles and Money Can't Buy Me Love and all that song. And so you want a you want your you want to keep the expectations low whenever you perform.
Yeah.
So I do that all the time. Nobody keeps nobody surprises his audience more than I do when I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So okay. So let me get back to wanting to go places. Okay. So a funny story. I always wanted to go to hockey games. Always wanted to go to concerts. I always wanted to be out there. I figured out something during the pandemic. I am no homebody.
Me either. Me either.
And so I would go see a ball game, or I would take the school bus, and then take the city bus into town, and then go see them. And sometimes I'd be out there a long time. Once I was stuck at a place for 2 hours before a bus came to pick me up. It was like 12:30 at night. I'm like in 10th grade at this point. And my mom said, I'm keeping, these are the days of payphones. So I
Yeah.
kept saying, I'm all right, I'm all right. He goes, we're worried about you, we're worried about you. And then, of course, when I finally got back into town for them to pick me up, mom says, we called the police on you. And we wanted you registered with the Bureau of Missing Persons. I was gone 2 hours. In fact, if you know your detective shows, you have to be missing 24 hours before they even want to look for you. And at the same time, I was talking on the phone the whole time. They knew where I was. Trying to. I think my mom was lacked the fun gene.
My mom was 2 and away.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, I wanted to go to Toys R Us so bad,
Oh yeah.
and my dad was going to work that day, and then before my dad left, mom was like, "You ever gonna don't even talk about Toys R Us, or don't say anything at all, nor I forgot what the other thing she said,
Yeah.
but then my dad was just staring at me.
Yeah.
Then he just like shut the door, like, bye, okay.
Did you go to Toys R Us?
I never went that day,
No, not that day.
but it was fun going when I did though go to Toys R Us.
Oh, it's the greatest store in the world for children.
Yeah, but my mom said they wouldn't take me that day because my dad had to work.
Oh, he should have quit his job to take you. You could have been selling pencils with the tin cup after that, but you would have gotten the Toys R Us.
Yeah.
I got a funny story about Toys R Us. My niece, she was a little girl and she always wanted to go to Toys R Us. Well, one day she threw a tantrum about something else. So I said, "Do you want to come with me to the movies? We're going to go do a little shopping." And and she said, "No, no, I don't want to go anywhere with you." So then I said, "Okay, I'm going by myself." So I went, and when I came back, I knew she had a friend named Kelly Creamer. That was the girl's name.
Yeah.
And when I came back, I said, "Oh, Kelly Creamer and I had such a great time." She goes, "What? What'd you do?" I said, "I went to the movies, but you didn't want to go, so that's not a big deal." Well, maybe I didn't want to go. And then we went to Toys R Us and spent probably 2 or 3 hours there. She goes, "What? You went to Toys R Us with my friend and not me?" And then I said, "Oh, I'm sure you go to Toys R Us all the time." She goes, I've never been to Toys R Us. I see it advertised on TV. I always want to go to Toys R Us." So then I think this was around a little bit before Christmas. After Christmas, there was nobody in the store at Toys R Us. So I said, "I'll take you to Toys R Us. We'll make a special day." We went there, and she spent, I'm not kidding you, 3 hours just playing with all the toys. She was in seventh heaven.
Yeah.
And then, and the story actually goes on for a while. What happened was something like 10 years later, She introduces me to. She always heard about this girl, Kelly Creamer. I never met Kelly Creamer. She introduces me to the like in junior high, like ninth grade, Kelly Creamer, and says, "You know who this is, don't you?" And I said, "No." She goes, "This is Kelly Creamer. You spent the whole day at Toys R Us with her." Oh yeah, 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 yeah. And Kelly didn't know what we were talking about. I was always pretty good at stuff like. Oh yeah, one of my sisters told me that she was disappointed the first time she went to Toys R Us. She's a little older than you. She went to Toy. You know the advertisement with that giraffe and those people dressed up in animal
Oh yeah.
costumes. She thought they would be there when she went to Toys R Us. What the hell is this? Where's Jeffrey the giraffe?
Yeah.
But it was good. It was good going to Toys R Us. One of the worst insults I ever heard was I asked a woman I was working with. She says I went on a blind date last night, and I said to her, "Well, what was the guy like?" And she said, "Well, he looked like he shopped at Clothes R Us." I literally fell out of my swivel chair. Clothes R Us. And then, oh gosh, oh, but it's not my boss, so I'm not answering it.
Yeah.
You want to know something? This music, I don't know if you could hear this music. I'll get to show you who's calling me. But this was the theme song to my radio show. It's by Camille Saint-Saëns. It's the finale to Carnival of the Animals. So I have a whole orchestra in my cell phone.
I love that music.
Isn't it great? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the swan is from it. You know, da 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 da. And I made a movie in college when no one was making movies with Super 8. It was like a 20-minute movie, and
Yeah.
it was called Carnival of the Animals, and I used the music to Carnival of the Animals, and I went to the zoo, a couple of zoos, the Washington Zoo and the Bronx Zoo, and I filmed all these wild animals and put them together, and also other footage I take, just basically just throwing everything I had as some sort of weird thing, and then over the music of the Carnival of the Animals by Camille Saint-Saëns. Now, what was kind of neat about this was uh, uh, the narration was on the record. I could have narrated it. Probably in retrospect, I should have done the narration by Oscar Wilde, and it's very good narration. And when I showed it, made it one of the few public performances I ever showed of it. My dad says, "You know that guy who's narrating it is very good. Who'd you get to narrate it?" And I said, "Noel Coward." Noel Coward was already dead for 10 years at that point, in the 1980s. He died in the 70s. You know, we're going to do we're going to do the Phantom Player is going to do a Noel Coward Blithe Spirit coming up. So
I want to try out for that.
yeah, I want to try out for it too.
Maybe you and I can go audition together.
Yeah, and so we shall.
Yes.
Yes, and together we stand, united we fall.
And I know in another week I'll be doing Alice in Wonderland theater
Okay.
camp.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you want to come with me, you can.
No, I'm a busy man. I don't want to go to camp.
Yeah.
I don't want to camp.
It ends on the 21st.
Good.
And then I'll have my show on that day.
Did you ever go to camp? Did you ever go to like summer camp or anything?
Vacation Bible School.
Okay.
Well, they kind of call it a Bible camp now, but
Yeah.
it's Vacation Bible School
Yeah.
back then. So.
I went to one day camp, uh, fifth grade or something, and I actually have to admit I had a really good time there. I learned how to shoot a BB gun, and I learned how to swim in a pool. I didn't learn really anything, but I learned to do it. I got the basics how to do it. They didn't really teach me at this camp. It was Camp Tucko. They didn't really teach me anything. Like swimming, they didn't really teach me very well. They said they'd like get you in the deep end and say, "Now do this."
Yeah.
That's the way you teach people how to swim. That's teaching people how to drown. But let's see. And then So I figured out, would that bird shut up?
Yeah.
That bird is laughing at us the whole time we've been doing this show. It's like a heckler at a comedy club.
It sounds beautiful to me.
It's a songbird. It's a it, and actually, you're right. It is beautiful. Why? How could I have been so short-sighted?
I know.
Let me tell you something. I think we talked about this the last time we did a show. I learned I have a talent very few people know, and that is I can whistle. I can whistle any song.
My grandfather used to love to whistle.
Yeah. So you name a song that I might know. Now I did this with another guy. I'm not going to mention his name, Gorgeous George. And he thought it was a contest. Like, oh, let me stump you, And he was basically, can you sing the fourth movement of Schumann's Piano Concerto? And I said, no. Can you do the B side to Lizzo's #2 hit from 3 years ago? No, I don't. Give me Happy Birthday or Take Me Out to the Ball Game. We got a regular song. So you give me a regular any song that I might know. That if I know the tune, I could whistle it.
Mm. No, never can say goodbye.
Oh, I could do that. Yeah. Get it?
Yeah.
You get it. A lot of people, I hear it perfectly in my ear, but then when I hear it played back, I'm so out of tune.
Yeah.
But if you play the orchestra loud enough, it sounds good.
Yeah.
Pardon me. And but I've been able to do that for years. And whistle. I can't play an instrument. I can sing a little. I love to dance.
My grandpa loved to sing and dance.
Yeah.
Whistle, everything.
Yeah.
That's where I got my musical ability from.
Yeah.
Was my grandfather.
Yeah.
I also got some from other family members too.
Whistle while you work.
Like my grandmother, my fourth cousin.
Yeah.
Everybody. So.
Oh yeah. You're like the King family.
Yeah.
Like the Partridge family.
Yeah.
You're, my family. My family are more like the Barrymores. We don't sing. Well, actually, my people in my family are good singers. My dad likes to, my mom liked to sing, but all my sisters were in like the choir and the chorus and everything. But now because of karaoke and the musical theaters that I appear in, I have become, starting when I was like 40 years old, the the premier singer in my family. Kevin, we want you to sing. All right. A long way to Tipperary, whatever song they want me to sing.
It's a long way to go.
Yeah, of course. And I to this day I hate missing out on anything. And I made a vow when I was like 16 years old because I miss out on so much, between 11 and 15 years old that I'm not going to miss anything, and I don't. I'm from a place called Hopewell, Virginia, and my mom would tell me, Kevin, there are people in Hopewell that have, when I wanted to go somewhere or do it all, she would say there are people in Hopewell that have never left Hopewell. They and they are and they are no happier than you are. Or sadder than you are. And I said, I have nothing but miserable pity for those people because if they don't want to go anywhere, why compare me to them?
My mom liked the fun gene too. So.
She liked the fun.
Yeah, she was kind of like your mom.
Well, I tell you another thing that's kind of funny about.
I love my mom, but
Oh yeah,
she always controlled me.
yeah. Well, that's what. Actually, in fairness to mothers and fathers, they worry about you more than you do. I mean, I could ride on the back of a truck,
Yeah.
but they say, "Get off that truck! Get off the truck! He's gonna fall and always break your neck." Like I'm gonna have my neck in a cast.
Yeah.
Or what's the old joke? George Carlin says, "How do you, if you break your neck, it's just going to slide like this the whole time, and you have to keep propping it up on a
Yeah.
hold it over your head in a sling."
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I'll tell you something else my mom would do. She would actually. This is really weird. You know, when you're a teenager, you're always doing crazy stuff like getting, drinking or anything. What's another thing? Getting in bad behavior, hanging with the wrong crowd, doing stuff like staying out late, things you want to keep a secret from your parents. So anyway, at that point, to shut your mouth. So what happened was, um, my mother was a nurse, and she would see like really kids, that motorcycle accidents and stuff like that. So she would tell me, all this stuff. And this guy can't use the bathroom anymore because of the car accident he was in. From fooling around, or he was climbing a tree or something, and he fell out of it. And all this stuff, or he was playing with dangerous dogs or something. And then she was telling me about this guy. He goes, there's this guy at the hospital. He's just like you. I said, what do you mean? Well, he eats fast food all the time. He drinks whenever possible. He rides motorcycles. He's very reckless. He hangs around with the wrong people, and they don't think he's going to live to be like 22 years old. And I said, he was a little older than and I was just like 18 years old. I said, wait a minute, does this guy smoke? And she goes, oh yeah, he puffs away probably 2 or 3 packs a day in the hospital. And I said, then I don't want to hear anything about this guy. Smoking is worse than all that jazz.
Right.
And so I was actually kind of mad at my mom because she was I mean, hey, it's awful to say in retrospect, but I really felt deeply about it at the time. She was taking care of AIDS patients, and she was pricked a few times with giving a shot to AIDS patients.
Yeah.
And a lot of people caught AIDS that way. And mom never caught AIDS, but I actually sweated through like an AIDS test my mom went through early on. This is like in 1983 or something, and when it all kind of came to a head. And I said, but I said, you say that I'm reckless and I'm and I'm a daredevil. Here you are getting yourself jabbed with AIDS needles. I'm not doing that. But now they can do something about the protease inhibitors, which is good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see that AIDS for the most part is gone. Sort of like COVID is gone. So
Yeah.
it's kind of there, but
Well, we're gonna wrap it up right now.
no. Can we do a second show?
Yes, of course. But we're gonna take a little bit of break. So, well, God bless you. Take care.